Okay, if you are primarily a backpacker, this might be the most important video that you watch all day, released by me. Let's go. Okay, so I am primarily known on YouTube for kayaking, but the whole other half of my life is backpacking focused. I work for a major outdoor retailer, and my job with them is, besides doing pack fittings, training staff to do pack fittings. I think it is the most important thing that I do outside of kayak instruction on my own. I am super passionate about pack fitting. And so today I've got a friend joining me, another outdoor educator who's going to meet me, and we're going to talk about the process for fitting a backpack. The first and most important thing we need to know before we can do a pack fitting is the size of the pack. Packs come in sizes small, medium, and large to fit people that are small, medium, and large. There are a handful of packs that are one size fits all, but for now, let's talk about small, medium, large. In order to figure out what size pack you need, we need to measure your torso. In a store, when they measure a torso, they use a device to measure it. We're going to do it on Justin with a tape measure. It's harder to do it on your own without a tool. It's actually almost impossible to measure your own torso length, which is why I recommend going into a store to do this. But if you can't do it, this is how you handle that situation. The landmarks that we're looking for in this situation is the top of your hip bones, your iliac crest, so not the front of your hip bones, but if you were wearing jeans, right over the seam in your jeans. And that's landmark 1, but we need to translate that landmark to over your spine, which makes it difficult. The other landmark is the big bump on the back of your neck, which is cervical vertebrae 7 or C7. We're measuring the distance between the tops of your hip bones to the big bump on the back of your neck to C7. Now, frequently I'll have someone come into a store and say, clearly I am 6'2", I must be a large. That is not true. 80% of all men are mediums, 80% of all women are smalls, and this has nothing to do with shoulder size or hip size or anything like that. We're just measuring torso size. You can be 6'2" and be a medium, you can be 5'4" and be a medium, or you can be 5'4" and be a small or a large. Everyone's ratio of leg length to hip length varies, and so you have to be measured to know what size you are, even though about 80% of us fall into those two categories, for women small, for men medium. We still need to measure to find out. We may make some variances or some allowances based on other fit issues. The torso measurement is a starting point, it's not an ending point. Okay, so we're going to start with a torso measurement. I'm going to bring in Justin. Come on in, Justin. Justin is an outdoor educator that I work with. He is, you teach primarily climbing, right?
Yes.
Anything else? When the painful necessity arises?
Yeah, when they make me, but mostly climbing.
Mostly climbing, okay. And so what we need to do is find out Justin's torso length. Do you know your torso length?
I do not.
You do not?
No.
Okay, and the landmarks that we're looking for are the tops of your iliac crest. Do you know where those are?
I do know where those are. Those would be like right around here.
Okay, can I touch you to make sure we're in the right place? No, put your thumbs there also. Let's see if you're in the right place. You're a little low. We're actually looking for right there. So bring your thumbs up to there. And then I'm going to have you spin around 180 degrees.
All right.
Because we need to find that spot in the middle of your back, which is right about there. Okay, you can let go.
All right.
And now we're going to measure from that spot to C7. Look down at the ground for me. And so looking straight down at this, that's about a 19.5-inch torso. Okay, you can turn back around.
All right.
A 19.5-inch torso is the very top of medium. Do you know what size backpack this is?
That's a medium.
That's a medium. How lucky. Okay, and so how do you know what size your pack is? Unfortunately, there is not a universal place on packs where they put sizes. REI puts their sizes sometimes up here at the neck. This is actually called the yoke, so just above the yoke. Sometimes it's on, Osprey packs put it on the left waist belt. So there you go. So, but 19.5 is the starting point for a pack fitting, which is the top of medium. Now, if Justin was super burly and really broad shoulders, I might think about putting him in a large. But because you're relatively, what do I call you? Slim, I guess.
Slim.
Because you're relatively slim, not relatively, you're
Wayfish.
slim. Wayfish, I like wayfish. Yeah, we're going to stick with a medium. And I know that this pack fits him. I hope this pack fits him. Okay, so because we know this pack fits him, it's relatively easy. But if we were in a pack fitting situation, I'll show you the things that we would be looking for. So the landmarks now that we're looking for are those tops of those hip bones that we measured to. And when we put this pack on, which has some weight in it, not a ton, but some weight in it, we want the tops of those hip bones in the middle of this waist belt. So go ahead, and actually what I'm going to do is what I do when I do a pack fitting is I'm just going to loosen everything. And this is going to force Justin to adjust them. Right now this is fitted perfectly for him, and he's probably really upset that I'm adjusting everything.
No.
But okay, so you can go ahead and go put this on.
Alright.
And we're looking to get the hip belt right in the middle, or the hip bone right in the middle of that waist belt. So you can lift the whole pack up and then buckle it and then make it nice and tight.
Alright.
And if we do this right, your belly button should end up within an inch, or what the phrase I use is in proximity to the buckle. So touch your belly button for me. I would call that in proximity to your belly button. So that's pretty good. Next, we want to adjust these two straps. So you're going to pull those down and back behind you.
How firm should I do it?
Snug.
Snug.
And we're going to check a couple landmarks in a second. Sternum strap is optional. What the sternum strap does is it pulls these straps off the edges of your shoulders, right? So it pulls it in like that. It's normally on a track, so you can see that it slides up and down. I don't like it because it makes me feel like I can't breathe. Do you use the sternum strap?
I do.
Okay, so let's buckle the sternum strap. I did not adjust that, so that should be in the right place. I would actually even say the sternum strap is a little low, just because it looks like it's going to rub your nipular region.
Nipular region's right here.
Okay, good. And then we talked about this. I'm going to have you turn and face that way.
All right.
We talked about this in another video, is load lifters are straps that get people in trouble. So when I do a pack fitting, I tighten the load lifters because people tend to over tighten them. Okay, now here are the landmarks that I'm looking for as a pack fitter. Can you put this arm above your head? I'm going to reach in here with permission. Hey, can I touch you?
Absolutely.
I'm going to reach in here and find where the top of his hip bone is, and it's right about there. So just a little bit above the middle of the waist belt, which is perfect. I'm really okay with it being at like 2/3. That's perfect. The next thing I'm looking for, oh no, keep that up. The next thing I'm looking for is the position of this buckle. If this buckle is all the way down here, that means the pack is probably too big for him because it has to be really tight. If this buckle is all the way up here, that means the pack is too small for him. This is perfect. We want it right in the middle, and we want this snug. Okay, now you can put this down. The next thing that I'm checking for, make that fit you, good.
Yeah.
Good, you did, yeah, that's good. The next thing that I'm checking for is I should be able to slide my hand under here with just a little bit of resistance. That is super subjective. A little bit of resistance. So it shouldn't be really hard to slide my hand in there. It also shouldn't slide under there without touching anything but his shoulder. Again, that's really nice. And then these are just snug. Now, I talk a lot about low lifters because they get people in trouble. You can see that this does not follow the 45-degree rule, which goes back to what I was saying in the backpacking tips video, that 45-degree rule isn't really true anymore. This is super nice. This is going to work just fine. And that's a really nice pack fit. So then I would say to Justin, if we were in a pack fitting situation, take a walk around for a good 10 minutes. See how it feels. We're looking for anything that is rubbing or pinching or binding. And then when he comes back, we'll sort of talk about fit. Frequently what happens is, you can turn and face this way again.
All right.
Frequently what happens is people come back from that walk around and they say, this feels good, except the pack is bouncing around a lot. Justin has the top pocket from this pack removed to save weight, but if it's bouncing around a lot, that generally means that the load lifters are too loose. So we can make those just a little bit more snug But again, it's a super gentle adjustment. It's not super tight. A good indicator that your load lifters are too tight is you'll start to get pain in your shoulders right here because it's shifting. The tighter the load lifters are, the more it shifts the weight from here on your waist belt where we want it to here on your shoulders where we don't want it. And so if you feel like your shoulders are getting tired or they hurt, that's a good indicator that those are too tight. And you can make those pretty loose if the trail is nice and flat. And then when you start scrambling or climbing or descending, that's a good time to tighten those up. But if at any point your shoulders start to hurt or get tired, that generally indicates that your load lifters are too tight. Believe it or not, that is a complete pack fitting. It doesn't take that long if the person sort of knows what they're looking for. But if you're brand new to pack fitting, take a bunch of time. Take 30, 40, 50 minutes trying on a couple of different packs to get a feel for the way different packs feel. Not every pack fits everyone well. Like, so if your buddy, if Justin said to me, oh, you've got to get this pack, it's awesome, I love it. Just because it fits him well doesn't mean it fits me well. I use the analogy of it's a lot like buying shoes frequently. So every shoe looks good on the wall. Until you put it on your feet, you don't know what it's going to feel like. And that's super true of packs. And in particular, you have to have weight in them to know what they're going to feel like. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Anything you want to add?
No, I think you've just about covered it, bro.
Cool. And you do pack fittings too, right?
I do, which is why I was nervous when I came here. I realized this is non-adjustable in the yoke, and I was like,
yeah.
I wonder if Brett's going to talk about that.
Well, yeah, so let's pop it off and we'll explain what you're talking about. That is a good point. This pack in particular, here is the yoke, here is the back panel. Because this is an ultralight pack, this is not adjustable. But like the ultra popular Osprey Atmos 50 and 65 offers a fair amount of adjustability within there to really fine tune the fit. In general, if you're a medium, you don't have to fine tune that fit. But that gives you the ability to fine tune the fit. But this pack fits you beautifully. You don't need to make that adjustment. And if you can get away with that, it saves you weight. This is a very lightweight pack. This only has about 8 or 9 pounds in it. In general, I would put a little bit more weight in it than that to do a pack fitting, but I kind of knew that this pack was going to work for him. Okay, that's how you fit a pack. Thank you for coming by, Justin. I really appreciate it.
Anytime.
And I'll see you guys outside.